Now let's see what is a source mode. So under the hood, the editor uses something called markdown. So markdown is actually the style of syntax which we are actually using it here. So HTML is something which we used in tap on the box. In this one, we are using markdown. Markdown is a little more easier to learn and it just has like 10 or 15 functions. So once you master this 10 or 15 functions, you can create anything in markdown. So let me go to the markdown. So to go to markdown, what you have to do is go to this source mode on the right one, which basically will just see a blank text. So before going to markdown, let me do few items which is here. Let me just create like this is sample text. And if I go to markdown, anything which you see on the rich text editor, you will also be able to see it on the markdown editor, which is also the source mode. If you see here. This happens either way. For example, if you go to the source mode and I'm just removing it, and if you go to the rich text editor, nothing is there. It says like, this is the item which I have typed on source. Like I'll just put markdown mode. And if you go back, you can just see. So you can toggle between the rich text mode and source mode at any point of time, and the data will be consistent. So what is Markdown? So there is a link which is basically called Markdown cheat sheet, which I'll attach somewhere on the video's description. On Markdown, you have basic syntax, which basically is heading, bold, italics, back block quotes, ordered list, unordered list, code, horizontal rule, link, and images. So here we have seen almost everything here. So I have bold, italics, underline, strike through, which strike through is not here, but yeah, strike through, superscript, subscript, as well as bold, italics, everything is here. Link, even this break, everything is here. So you can go to the source mode and you can just see it. Let me go here to the source mode. Yes. So let me type on the source mode and tell you what is heading one. So in rich text mode, in this dropdown, you see heading 1 to 6, which is basically exactly the same on the source mode. So let's say you type a text called heading. So immediately if you start typing, it consider this as a paragraph text. So if you see here, consider as a paragraph text. But the moment you put hash, so if you see here, hash, and the moment you leave a space, so you have to put a space here, hash, and if you put a space, that's when this automatically becomes heading. This is heading 1, and we have 6 headings. So if you put the second hash, the heading changes. Third hash, it becomes heading 3. Fourth hash is heading 4, 5 is heading 5, and 6 is heading 6. So totally you have 6 headings. 6 headings, you can have any item, any type of heading text you want. And now let's go to block text. So block text is exactly the same thing. In the source, in the rich text editor, we had this bold text. Let's say that you want to say this is like bold text. So if you just type it regularly, it becomes a paragraph. The moment you put 2 stars in the front and the back, it becomes bold. So I'll just put 2 stars in the front and in the back. See, this becomes bold. For example, you want to just bold only the first text. You don't have to put the 2 stars in the end, just put the 2 stars here. So only this particular item is bold. Let's say you want to put only one character as bold, just make that particular character as bold. So you can just have fine control of what character you want to make it as bold. So star starting and star ending makes it as bold. So italics is the same thing, but it has just 1 star. So let's say I'll make the OLD as italic. All I have to do is star and a star. So what happens is this kind of looks like 3 star, but doesn't matter. Like this is the bold version and this is the italic one. So if you see here, P is bold and OLD is italic. Now you have black code. So black code is just put a right arrow. The moment you put a right arrow, okay, so you have to put it in a new line. Put a right arrow. Yes, you can't, the quotes, you can't put it on the same line, you have to put it in line. The moment you put the right arrow, anything you enter becomes quotes. And also the top bold and italic items apply. Heading will not apply, but the bold and italic items apply. For example, in test, if you want to put stars and make T as bold, you can still do it. So if it's still quotes, but you can put italics or you can just put bold, things will work the same. So now, let's say you want to go to rich text mode and type something. So now let's say here, you want to say like, I want to make this strike through. Strike through. Now, you do not have a syntax of strike through. I mean, you have a syntax of strike through, which is deep down, but let's say assume that you do not know what is the syntax of strike through. What you can do is click on strike through or any text that you want, click on strike through and press strike through. Go to the source mode and you will know what is the syntax of strike through. So you will know that these two wavy signs, which we call as tilde signs, these two tilde signs on the top, front and the back, basically creates a strike through. So I can just put two tilde here and I can put another two tilde here and this becomes strike through. You can also do the same thing for superscripts. Let's say I'll just put like make this as superscript. If you put here, it's a like open this div like a tag, which is sup and or close a tag, and this basically makes a superscript subscript. So advantage is if you forget the syntax, go to the rich text mode, type something like put terms, type something and click on it and put like whatever you want. Like let's say you wanted to have it italic as well as superscript. Go to the source mode and you will know like see it has made it a superscript, sorry, strike through, and then it has put an italic symbol here. So this is the beauty of Markdown. Now I'll just attach this particular document here. So this document basically will just show you anything, most of the items which you want for Markdown. Now let me talk about spacing. So spacing is something which cannot be done on the rich text mode. So in rich text, let's say you want to have line 1 and the second one you are putting line 2. Unfortunately, this is not supported on the rich text mode. So for example, you want to make a gap between line 1 and line 2. So what you go to the editor is, you keep pressing enter. You have actually created a lot of space, but if you see on the right side, the space has not come through. The problem is the rich text editor doesn't support multiple lines. Like you can't put spaces in the multiple lines. You have to go through the source mode. So to do a trick for it is, what I would do is, let's remove all the space here for now. Let me add a single space. So to add multiple spaces, what you have to do is you have to do a backslash. If you do backslash, what basically happens, the more number of backslash you make, the more number of lines it creates. So here, if you see here, in editor mode, you see exactly the same thing. You see a gap. The preview, you see a gap, but previously it did not work. Now in source mode, if you see here, you have to put all those spaces here. So the source mode and editor mode, once you see that codes has basically vanished. The reason is because it kind of messed up a little bit. So what I would suggest is like whenever you are putting this backslash or anything, I would strongly suggest be on the source mode. Don't go to the rich text mode, and you will automatically understand. Like you can just put these particular slashes and it will just create multiple lines. Okay. Now, let's say you want to make just one gap. You have two options to do it. So first option is like put an empty line in between it. So if you do not put any empty line, for example, line number 1 and line number 2 is exactly the same thing. What happens is in preview, if you see here, it's all in the same line. Even if you put line 3, it basically is the same line. So even if you see it on the editor, it has the 3 lines. But yes, in source mode, if you see everything is exactly the same, and preview is kind of messed up. So there are two options. One is put one gap, which basically creates another line. But the problem is when you put one gap, this actually creates a little bigger line. So if you see there's a distance between line 1 and line 2 is bigger. So to avoid that, what I would suggest is keep it close by and end of the number 1, add 2 empty space. So once you put 2 empty space, it basically tells that the next line, whatever you have added here, will be pushed down. So if you see here, line 1 and line 2 has extremely less space. It's kind of considered as the same text. But line 3, there is a space here. So if you see here, in a mark it here, like let's say I'm selecting it, you see there is a space here, there is no space here. So this is the right way of actually putting spaces. So for example, when you're adding multiple paragraphs, if you do not want to have a space between the paragraph, then I would strongly suggest put double space or even triple space, doesn't matter, it works. So anything more than 2 spaces will work. So put the 2 space and you can just create the solution of this is about spaces. And finally, I'm actually going to have a trick about the source mode. This is actually a problem. I wouldn't say problem with the source mode, but this is how it kind of works. So in the source mode, by chance, if you have a less than symbol, for example, if you have less than 7 symbol, something like that, like you are saying that any patient with some one, like less than 7 kg of weight, like if you put this one and if you go to the rich text mode completely gets messed up because the less than text alone the rich text mode doesn't support. So how to avoid this is you don't have to remove the rich text, this one, all you have to put a slash, a backslash before the less than symbol. So once you put that one, the rich text mode understands like, oh, you know what, this is considered as less than mode and it will not ruin the rich text editor. So yes, this is a quick walkthrough about source mode.